I'm not ashamed to say it. Uh, I missed you. Today, this is kind of like my inaugural thing back. If you are in the know, you might know I have a secret society, a sort of secret group that people are a part of. And I asked those people, do you like these kind of live, kind of more impromptu videos? Would you rather kind of more written stuff? Obviously, every week I'm writing a relatively long form email in the Better Questions email. So betterquestionsemail.com if you want to get that on Wednesdays. Would you want more of that? Do you want more kind of live stuff? And everybody said more live stuff. Pretty much everybody. So we're doing it. We're kind of doing more impromptu off the cuff stuff. This is stuff that I just think about every week about, mental models, productivity, and more. Just trying to live a good life, a productive life. And the thing that really stuck with me this week was this idea of, what are you willing to pay? What are you willing to pay? Because this is the thing. I think if you are a student of economics, if you like economics, it is a given that everything has a cost. Everything has a cost because we live in a universe of scarcity. There's not enough of anything to go around equally for everyone. And even if we wave a magic wand and all of a sudden we've got infinite food and infinite money and infinite everything, we don't have infinite time. Right? You don't have infinite time. And so there's always a cost. At the very least, everything you choose to do in your life carries an opportunity cost. You did this thing, but you couldn't do something else. I went to bed early. That meant I couldn't stay up working on music. I, chose to eat the bagel, and that meant I couldn't eat the croissant, right? There's just always a cost. And most of the time, it's no big deal. Most of the time, we view the things, we make a decision and we pay the cost. But a lot of times what ends up happening is that the cost is hidden from us. And so in many ways, the stuff that seems to be free, the stuff that seems to have no cost, has the highest cost of all. And I thought of this weekend because I very ridiculously, this was a terrible decision on my part. A terrible decision on my part. I own up to this. Okay. I decided to get into a debate online. I saw someone post something. This, by the way, not a political account that I'm following. This person's like a sports account. And they posted a thing that seemed very extreme. We'll just say it's political. It's a political thing. And they said, I can't believe people are doing this thing. And I said, yeah, that seems unbelievable, literally. So I Googled it. I have this wonderful thing called google.com that anybody can use. It's totally free. So I Googled the thing. It took me 3 minutes. I read the thing. It said, people say it's this thing, but it isn't. Very clearly isn't. They're just completely misunderstanding it. And I read the law in question. I mean, literally I spent 3 minutes on it. And then I went back to the original post and I said, hey, just so you know, this thing you're sharing is misinformation. And here's a link to the article that I read this on if you want to read about it. And I was bombarded by, on all sides by people who said, I'm a Satanist and I'm a terrible person and I'm a criminal, literally. And I had people stalk my page and make threatening comments. And I should have just backed away, okay, from the garbage fire that was this thing. But instead I engaged because I believe in engagement and I believe in rationality. I believe we can all come together and we can share a view of reality. I believe that. I believe it's critical for democracy, yada, yada. It didn't go well. And I was upset about it all day, thinking about it all day, checking it all day. I yelled at my kids because I was distracted by this thing and the kid's trying to get my attention. I'm pulled in two directions. I get super stressed and I lost my temper. So when I decided to comment on this post, right? Maybe I was driven by a desire to make democracy better. Maybe I was just driven by an egotistical desire to be right and prove that I was right. Maybe I was driven by a desire to connect to other people, whatever it is. Maybe I was just bored that day and I just wanted a little dopamine hit. Whatever the desire was, that interaction seemed like it was free, right? It was not free. It was not free. Yeah, it says Capsaicin Connoisseur, which is a perfect, wonderful name. It says, so difficult to resist engaging someone online at times. Yeah, and especially if you believe that we're all kind of called to do that. This moment in our society, all that is required for evil to prevail is for good men and women to do nothing. Right? So I don't really believe in, look, I've got to protect my fragile mental state, and so I'm just going to let misinformation run rampant. But what I'm saying is that there's cost to it. There's a cost. And you got to be aware of the cost. Everywhere in our society today, we are being programmed through dopamine reward loops to behave in ways that I would argue, are objectively bad. Bad for us, bad for society, bad for the people we love. They're just bad. It's good for someone. Someone gets paid, but for everyone else, it's bad. So what do we do with that? What do we do with this idea that everything has a cost? Okay. And here's what I've decided for myself. Because I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep getting sucked into this. First of all, I'm not helping anybody. I'm not convincing anybody. So here's the thing. One, you don't stop engaging. You keep engaging. But you don't engage under their rules. Okay? You don't engage on platforms that are designed to be bad for rational, structured, productive engagement. Instagram, Facebook, these are designed to be bad for productive conversations. It's not by accident. It's on purpose. So you can engage, but you don't have to do it the way that they want you to. You can do it in person. You can do it in writing. You do it, on a blog or in an email. You could do it over the dinner table. You still do it. It's important to do it, no matter what you believe. It's important. It's what democracy is, right? It's what civil society is. But I don't gotta pay Zuck to do it. The other thing is, you need to build an alternative. Like, I truly believe that this kind of the whole fake news thing, it's so poisonous and it's so toxic and it's so destructive, but complaining about it doesn't do anything about it. I say this to my kids all the time, and I'm not even convinced it's a good thing to say to them, but I say it to them all the time. Whining never solved a problem. You got to solve the problem. And I don't want to hear people whine. I made this a personal rule for myself. It's probably not a great idea to force it on my kids, but a personal rule for myself I try to stick to is I never whine unless I'm following it with a solution. I try to do that. I don't always do it. It's hard, but I try. So what can we do? What can we do to build something new, build something better, build an alternative? Mine is better questions. That literally, those emails I send out every single week, that is me trying to build consensus and build, I don't want to call it a movement, right? That's too much, but build something useful and valuable and important. That's what it is. So what is that for you? What can you build? It could just be a text chain with your friends. It could be, practice of calling your grandmother who you completely disagree with once a month and just trying to have a conversation with her. It could be anything, but you got to build it because they're not going to build it for us. Zuck is not building it for us. They're never going to. We got to do that. You got to do that. And I hope you do. This is mine, betterquestionsemail.com. I would love to have you join in this conversation. I send out one email every single Wednesday about mental models, productivity, and more. You can watch me think in public, and I get tons of really great, amazing feedback every single week from it, and I am truly grateful for it. So I would love to have you. betterquestionsemail.com. All right, this is Danny Barrett signing off. I will see you more because I'm going to do these more because people ask for it, so I'm going to do it.